So here we go. Here's my dream. Very, very short. And that is that I was walking and I was in a line, and it was a huge line, like zigzag, like when you're, you know how it is, like you're maybe at an amusement park and you have to go back and forth and back and forth, so many people. But it was to speak to Mike Pence. And there were lines and lines, and I kept going through these zigzags and zigzags and zigzags, and so many people were in this line. And then after I completed this massive line, I went up to another section and still had to go through another line. And this line were the talkers. It's an unusual type vision / dream. It was very short. And it was another section, and this section was very loud. And I kept thinking, how am I going to get there, up there, to be heard? So zigzag, zigzag. And I finally get up to him, and as I'm getting there, I'm thinking, and this is unusual for me because I'm not in that circle of people, but how will I get past Secret Service to speak to him? And I know I will only have a few seconds, and I have to tell him this. So finally, I get there and get closer and closer and closer. And I get right there and take his hand to shake it. And I lean forward and I whisper in his ear. And I will not record here what my message was to him. But I'm going to tell you what was revealed to me through this. And you may say, well, what do you mean just walking through, and what does all this mean? Well, you know how prophetic dreams or visions work is that you receive the message of what it means and what the actual purpose is. What I received is that there will be something happen to Trump. And what I believe, what I received, is that it will be his health, and he will no longer be living, thus pushing Mike Pence forward. Now, let me explain why I gave you the background that I did of some of my thoughts and other prophecies. If you have seen in the last day the video of Hillary Clinton, I believe she was at a 9/11 event, and someone was able to record a little bit of her getting into that SUV / limo where she is obviously incoherent and very ill. And the Secret Service or her bodyguards, whoever that was, her entourage, very quickly, the way they shuffled themselves around her, turning their backs to her and blocking where anyone could really film, and apparently no press was allowed to follow her, and that's interesting as well. But it is obvious she is very ill. And within just a short time, there was apparently Hillary Clinton coming out of her daughter's apartment looking quite vibrant. And I'm going to tell you it's an obvious body double. Many celebrities and famous people have look-alikes because people need a break. They need a break from the cameras. They need a break in their schedules. They need distractions so they can go to another location. And there is no doubt that that person that came out smiling, but if you look closely, this is not the same person. So I believe without a doubt that Hillary Clinton is very ill, and they're trying to hold her in position, but unfortunately I think that she is going downhill, whatever that illness is, whether it's utter exhaustion or something more serious. So here we go. Think of the logic here. Hillary Clinton is very ill, so her vice presidential candidate with her moves forward. Donald Trump, something happens, and Mike Pence moves forward. I don't know enough about the Constitution, the laws. I don't know how all of that works. But think about how that could disrupt the election. I've said all along in my circle of people who know me personally that I knew that Trump was the catalyst to the disruption of the election, whether it was going to be that he was actually elected and dirty politics would be at play and things would be manipulated and there would be an uprising of the people because they would know it would be wrong, or something involving that. However, if the prophecy is correct that it's not actually going to happen, meaning the election is delayed, then what are the couple of ways that can happen? One would be under the Constitution, would be martial law or war. Or what about this situation where Hillary Clinton becomes very ill and Donald Trump passes away? Then we've got two vice presidential candidates that move forward, and what will happen then? So this is my dream of the night, that I'm telling you that things are going to happen. And one thing, we just last night had a family meeting and had some talk about some things. It's been on my mind for a few days to tell people, get your driver's license correct. You know, many of us don't even have the right address on our driver's license for whatever reasons. We've moved, license lasts for quite some time. And I told my children, I said, make sure your driver's license are correct. I think initially when unrest and chaos kicks in, I don't think it's going to be initial, but when things get organized, I think you're going to need to have your identification in order. So you need to go ahead and have that done. Make sure you're prepared, not only spiritually. That's very, very important. Don't just act the part anymore. Live righteously. Put God's word over your door frames. Get your identity straight. Prepare physically. Think about the things that you're going to need. Think about your family. Talk to them. Make them aware. Have a plan in place. Listen, when destruction comes suddenly, it's very, very difficult. It's horrible. Anybody that's gone through any kind of problems in their lives, anyone that's lived through natural disasters. But what do you think would be their answer if they were asked if they knew ahead of time? What would they have done differently? We have received warning after warning. I have received warnings through dreams. I've been teaching this. Other people, have been receiving dreams as well and prophetic words. We are getting warnings. If all of these are not completely correct, there's something within it that is correct, because there's too many people